If I were to compare myself to any animal at this point in my life, it would likely be an elephant for the simple fact that I don't forget a damn thing. I keep receipts and I return to those receipts whenever necessary. Now, there was a time in recent history when many of us were gaslit into believing that our claims that Kamala's campaign was indeed paying these celebrities for their endorsements. We were told that we were making things up, that we were crazy, that these celebrities were doing it just off the strength of their belief in this candidate. Now, obviously, for most of us sane people, we understood that there is no way any rational-minded human being, and I know we're dealing with Hollyweird here, but no rational-minded human being would genuinely see any value in this candidate that was essentially presented in front of us, that nobody voted for, that nobody really cared about until there was $2.5 billion worth of marketing budget that was pushed behind her. And, well, still lost. But anyway, that being said, I want to introduce you guys to a new piece of information that has just found its way to the mainstream, which essentially is confirming our quote unquote suspicions, i.e. the reality of what was going on. And I just want to shout out to Lindy Lee, I believe is her name. She was one of the main fundraisers for Kamala's campaign, more specifically the DNC platform itself. And she raised hundreds of millions of dollars for this campaign, right? She was going out to the tech hub and things of that nature, going to big money donors, even her own family donated buildings and things of that nature to the DNC in order to run this failure of a campaign. And this is a woman who was lied to time and time again about what was actually taking place, about, Kamala being up in these polls and she's going to win Iowa by a landslide. And there's no way that she doesn't, sweep every single one of these swing states, etc. A whole bunch of foolish propaganda. She believed it until she no longer could. And being on or in the DNC kind of ecosystem, it was difficult for her to say much without getting backlash. And of course, short story shorter, she now finds herself on the other side of the aisle for simply speaking her mind, telling the truth of what was happening with the money. And now she's been ostracized. Why? Because the far left, they eat their own. That's what they do. If you no longer subscribe to their delusions or you no longer essentially connect yourself to their corruption, they discard of you. They have no use for you. And so you become public enemy number one. So that being said, let's get into this and I'm going to give my little breakdown. So let's get into the numbers. Let's break down some receipts, shall we?
A former Democratic National Committee official says celebrities and the Harris campaign alike might be lying about the money spent on A-listers on the campaign trail. Lindy Lee, a former DNC Finance Committee member and Biden campaign advisor, sat down with the Sean Ryan Show, telling the show host that celebrities, from Beyonce to Cardi B, who say they weren't paid for their appearances.
I think the best thing Beyonce did this campaign season or this last election cycle was give us the just the incredible moment of the dance party with Beyonce, right? Me and my fiance always like to just, throw that out there every now and then. Dance party with Beyonce. I think that was the best thing that she likely did probably the entire year, to be honest. Cowboy Carter was definitely a far, far second to Dance Party with Beyonce.
Were paid money by the Harris campaign to show up on the campaign trail.
Despite her repeated denials, Beyonce was paid.
Who was she paid by?
The Harris campaign. She was paid tens of thousands of dollars to not sing. Well, no, she refused to sing. Beyonce was paid to show up. Cardi B was paid. Okay? Cardi B, who famously said she wasn't paid, her production company was paid to show up. Katy Perry was paid. Christina Aguilera was paid. These people were all paid. And Oprah wasn't paid.
And there's people like Christina. I don't even remember Katy Perry, Christina. I don't remember anything they did. Did anybody remember them like showing up on the stage or anything like that? Did they just basically pay them to put a social media post up? Like, what did you get for that? These people, look, the same individual who ran through $2.5 billion, maybe even more so, ran through $2.5 billion and went $20 million in debt, was supposed to somehow be able to salvage the American economy after Bidenomics, right? It's like me giving somebody $25 and they end up 20 cents in debt. I'm supposed to trust that person to take care of my money again. You got me up.
million. She was paid $2 million. Okay, let's be very clear.
$2 million.
$2 million to Harpo Productions.
It's against campaign finance laws to pay anyone for a presidential endorsement. But a campaign can pay for appearances and productions at rallies and events. And all campaign expenditures are required to be documented and submitted to the Federal Election Commission. According to FEC records, the Harris campaign paid Beyonce's production company, Parkwood Production Media, $165,000. Beyonce's mom posted on Instagram, Beyonce did not...
Now, to be fair, that $100,000 could have just gone to her outfit that night, right? Maybe that was just par for the course. Maybe that was just the expense of her flight to the location, or, surely it wasn't pocketed money that she asked for in order to give a fake endorsement to a fake campaign with a fake candidate that nobody actually chose. Surely it couldn't be that. It had to be. I promise you, it had to be something else. Surely we're all wrong and we're not seeing what we're seeing. That's at least according to the propaganda machine known as Freudian slip, known as the Democratic plantation.
Receive a penny for speaking at Harris's rally in Houston. Campaign finance records also indicate nearly $59,000 was paid to Wash Poppin Incorporated, a firm...
Wash Pop. At least she's being herself. Like, she really is that ratchet hood Wash Poppin'. I'm pretty sure she wanted to name it What Is Poppin', What's Popping, but she just has the inability to actually say the word what. So it's what's popping. You know somebody who talk. Hopefully you don't know somebody like this, but likely you know somebody who talks like that. What's popping? What's happening? What's good? What's popping? $50,000. I believe there's way more money that flowed into these people's pockets, but this is what is, being reported on paper, direct transfers of money going into these people's production companies or whatever it is, right? $50,000 likely she paid. What did she pay for? Let's see. Maybe the teeth. I think maybe the teeth were 50. The veneers, right? The chompers. The brighty whiteys. I think those may have been a cool 50 G's, or at least the maintenance on top of that.
A firm owned by rapper Cardi B. Cardi B previously denied getting paid $1 for her appearance. Neither Cardi B or Beyonce performed at Harris's events, but gave 10-minute and 4-minute speeches respectively. Lady Gaga's production company was paid $132,000. $95,000 was paid to Renegade 44, owned by former President Barack Obama.
That's a new one. So we just thought that, old Hussein was just going out there trying to get himself his 4th term in office, right? Because we all know that he was there. He was there in the last 4 years, and then obviously he was looking to get another 4, just at least another 4 in, right? He's got to get his 4. You got to get a 4-peat going for himself. Turns out that he actually got a little bit of a lump sum there. Cool little $95K. I guess times are hard for some of these folks. I was telling my mama what award show we were watching. It's like MTV Awards. We stumbled upon it by mistake last year, and we watching this thing, and I told her, the reason why Cardi B, or what's her name, Meg Thee Stallion, is up there doing the show now, and it's kind of run down, is because the budget. They're having budget issues. I mean, back in the day, they could get like somebody who actually was relevant, people sort of cared about, whatever, right? Nowadays, the budget is scarce in Hollyweird. I mean, the money has been flowing out of that damn ecosystem as it should, and going into the pockets of people who people actually trust and give a damn about. So Obama used to get paid like $500K a speech. Now he's getting $95,000 for a damn near half a campaign. He was out there, cussing us out. If you're a black man and you do not vote for Kamala, you have internalized misogyny and sexism and possibly racism and other isms that I cannot remember right now. But damn it, just vote for her because I need my 4th term. Like, the brother's struggling. $95K. Damn. Michelle used to get close to $1 million to do a speech. Now she can't even show up no more, but That might be a whole nother situation, Jennifer Aniston.
$1,000 went to R&B artist Khalid's production company. The New York Times reported $2.5 million paid to Harpo Productions, owned by Oprah Winfrey, after initial reports had the figure closer to $1 million. Harpo Productions and Winfrey released statements confirming Winfrey was not paid a personal cut of any campaign money. A spokesperson for the Harris campaign told Deadline, "We do not pay. We have never paid any artist and performer. We have never paid a fee to that person." The FEC records show that while individual checks to celebrities weren't cut, payments to companies owned by them were, ranging from tens of thousands to a few million. In all, the Harris campaign spent more than $1.5 billion in a 15-week sprint, with the campaign finances facing scrutiny across the political aisle since losing the election. Thanks for watching our news update. For more stories that matter to you, you can download the SAN mobile app.
I'll be honest, if I was one of these celebrities and I basically ruined my entire reputation off the basis of, one of the worst flops in, I think, just in all of American history. That was a complete mollywhopping that took place, okay? The only places where she dominated was Washington, D.C., which is the swamp itself. That's literally the house of the swamp monsters. And all the places where voter ID was not necessary. Somehow she just happened to slip by in those places and, dominated. And when I say dominated, I mean, a few percentage points in some of these places that had no voter ID. Places that just happen to be like completely blue washed spaces. So even with that, you end up, imagine, okay, you are a quote unquote celebrity and you have an entire reputation that you've built up for the last 20 to 25 years in Hollyweird, right? You've done the movies, you've sang the records, whatever. People somewhat trust you, have a large fan base, and you throw it all away for this. This is the hill that you decide to die on. Now, I'll give y'all an example of my life. Yesterday, I made a decision to essentially indulge myself in some deep fried chicken, some Korean fried chicken, right? Took my lady out. I've been, telling all about Korean fried chicken. It just so happens we are not in the location to go to the place where I first had it, where I fell in love with it. And so we go to a spot and I hadn't eaten this type of food in almost 2 years. I've been eating extremely clean. I don't do the sugar. I don't do the fried foods. I don't do the carbs, etc. Some may think it's extreme, but it's been extremely beneficial for my own body, right? It's been the best way I've eaten in my entire life. Where I don't have these continuous stomach issues and immune system issues or whatever. So I take her to the spot and we sit down and we're doing our best to order because, in some of them little hole in the wall spots, communication is tough, but finally we get the order out and, something in my intuition said, okay, just order a little bit of something before ordering a big old plate. My girl did the same. And so it was not worth it, folks. I would have literally broken that, that streak of clean eating with anything else. Literally anything else. It was not worth it. It was absolute trash. Now, it's not because the concept itself, it's just that place specifically didn't have, it was just no good. It was no good. I'm sorry. So imagine you have been working on your thing, your business, your whatever for decades, and you decide to hang it all up on Kamala hair. Like, maybe Biden, maybe. Even that, what a disgrace, right? But on this, I don't know if y'all remember what this campaign season, it was a joke, folks. Do y'all remember the first month and some change where she didn't even show up? Like they wouldn't even let her do interviews because they said it's going to be worse for her to actually speak. It's going to be worse for her to actually say something than it is just to hide her. We're better off in a presidential campaign where you need visibility. Visibility is everything. DJT was up on them stages talking for 3 hours straight, flying into a podcast, another 2.5, 3 hours, going to another spot, talking there, 50,000 people to 50 people in the damn room, whatever it took. He was going around talking to everybody, and they told their candidate, yo, sis, Queen Cackles, we're going to need you to chill. Okay? Every interview you do, we're going to make sure that we can clip it up, edit it up, right? Just like on 60 Minutes. Instead of getting 60 minutes, we're going to give him a cool 30 minutes because we know you can't handle. Okay, we might do Rogan because we need the audience, but we can't do it at his, we can't do it at his leisure. We got to get him to where we are, which is never done in his entire 20,000 episodes. He has never done before, but we're going to make sure he does it for us because we just can't have you sitting in there for 3 hours. You're going to bomb the entire thing. You're going to ruin the campaign worse than you already have just by existing in it. This is who we're talking about. This is the person that they decided to get paid a measly. I would have to get paid the equivalent of my entire career. Even Oprah, a billionaire, sis must be struggling because 2.5 M's is nothing. 2.5 M's is nothing to what Oprah at least is alleged to be worth. I think a lot of folks are struggling out here. Things are getting real, right? Bidenomics, things are getting real. And so I would, look, let's say I made 100 M's, 100 million throughout my career. Uncle Sam came and took about half of that. So maybe 50 million overall, right? Net profit. I would have asked for at least 35, 40 million to make it worth this. Like, I'm about to potentially lose my audience. And look at George Clooney. He's lost hundreds of millions already. Look at Robert De Niro, lost hundreds of millions. These are people whose studios are canceling, etc., because it's political BS. And they got so far gone in this mess. Who else do we have? We have, that's a jaded situation, but nevertheless, there's folks who are losing hundreds of millions of dollars or leaving it on the table because they decided to go political. And for me, I say, look, I might be partisan in my own perspectives, but if you're somebody who is in the spotlight in that way, celebrity, whatever it is, like I do social commentary. So, I talk about real things. I don't adult pretend. If I'm going to do some adult pretending, right, some acting, then I'm going to keep that stuff out of it, unless the point of it is to be quote unquote politicized, right? But the most political I'm going to get is family values and things of that nature, things that matter to me. That's how political I'm going to get with it. I'm not going to, you have to vote for, how dare you not vote for this person? You should be believing this. No. We're not going to do the Mark Hamill or the Mark Ruffalo. We're not going to do any of that. If I'm acting, I'm doing where's the script? What's the story? That's all there is to it. Simple. I don't want to hear nothing else that you got going on. Taylor Swift. Come on, sis. Come on. You are a multi-billion-dollar brand willing to lose everything. You are a country, quote unquote country, right? All American-ish brand. And you decide to do what? Do you not understand that at least 40% of your audience, at least 40%, are actual Americans who don't hate America? And yet you decide to endorse neo-Marxist, and she is a neo-Marxist. I'm not just saying that to say it. Daddy was a Marxist professor. You decide to endorse that, the most radically far left-leaning candidate in American political history, or at least presidential history. That's what you decide to. That's what you hang your head on. Y'all deserve everything that comes to y'all. Simple as that. I do not feel bad for you at all. You lose your whole career and you work 50 years for it. You did it to yourself. Simple as that. Keep it away. If I'm a popping artist, I'm shutting my mouth. If I'm on the, I'm shutting my mouth. I am shutting my mouth. Shut up and dribble. I'm shutting up and I'm dribbling, damn it.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. I know the time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.